I mean, this is why we call him the elusive Gordon Peters, right? I mean, this is why. This happens every time. I've been trying, I look back at the episode that Caleb and I did with him way back in the beginning of this thing. Damn thing was 11 months ago. And probably for at least 9 months, we've been trying to get him back in for a part 2 episode. Or what else would you call it? It's just part 2, right? It could be a return episode, could be a continuation episode. I don't know. But we've been trying to get him back in here. Had him scheduled multiple times since I've gone solo, and it never happens. I don't know why. I know why a few times. A few times we've just been too intoxicated to do a show, and we've done a couple shows, to be honest, and I couldn't do a thing with him. I mean, we did one show, probably, I didn't even let him know I was recording it, and I was going to let him know afterwards and make sure he was okay with me releasing it, but we did, and I think I've mentioned this probably before, but I think we did at one point, I think I did an hour and 45 minutes worth of audio. And I said, you know what? There's got to be something salvageable. There's got to be something I can put together. I can splice something together and produce a show out of this thing. An hour and 45 minutes, guys. I went through and scrubbed every bit of that audio, and I was going to piece together, a minute here, 30 seconds here, 5-minute section here, and put together like 30 minutes out of that, or maybe 15 or whatever. I got zero. It was either inaudible, ineligible. That's not the word. I don't even know what the words are tonight. I have no clue what I'm talking about. But anyways, there was nothing that I could salvage from that audio at all. And I tried. I really tried. I had some times written down, and I couldn't even put together 5 minutes. I mean, 5 minutes would have been okay if I could have got that done, but I couldn't. So anyway, Gordon is not here. The chair is empty. I messaged him. It's 8:47 Monday evening at the moment. We did our paddle today. Got off the river at about 4. So we have plenty of time to get ready. I messaged him at 8:11, which is, 30-something minutes ago. Hadn't even been read yet if he was still coming over to do the show. So I should have grabbed him immediately after we came off the river and said, just come over now, we're doing it. But I had some dinner plans that I wanted to get to. So I told him, let me go to dinner and let's do this thing afterwards. So I went to dinner. I went to the Ice House. Listened to Joshua Jarman out there again. It's a Monday night. He plays every Monday from 6 to 9 there at the Ice House. So get out and make sure you see him and give that dude some love. So I had some dinner. I had stuffed flounder, crab stuffed flounder. It was a special for tonight, one of the specials for tonight. And that was paired with some roasted potatoes, which I did not get. And the vegetable of the day was broccoli, so I doubled up on the broccoli. It's pretty good. Could have a little more flavor to it. It was a little bland, I thought. But it was good. And then the girl I was with, I'm not going to mention any names. Doesn't matter. But she got the special as well. It was smoked chicken breast with some barbecue, and it came with some grits, some Gouda grits, and some collard greens. So I haven't tasted that. I actually brought those home as a leftover, so I'll try those out maybe later on. Who knows? Did I say Gordon Wood here? This is he and I. This is he and me. He and me? God. He and me. This is me. Him and me. This is him and me on the Edisto, because that's him and that's me. So that's him and me on the Edisto. We beached out at one point and got something to eat, and just kind of took a break out in the water a little bit. Still a little frigid, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not frigid enough where you don't want to jump in. It didn't take your breath away, but it was close. It was on the edge of just warm enough and maybe still a little bit too chilly, but we got in, took a little dip, had a great time. The original mileage that we were thinking, I was thinking it was a 10-mile paddle based on what I saw online and what I use here is let's pull it up. It's called the edistofriends.org. So you can go there, and it gives you all kind of information about the Edisto River. It'll give you landings. It'll give you river miles. It'll break down everything. Let's just go into this. It'll break down everything from access sites by county. So you can go to Aiken County, which is the South Fork. Bamberg, the South Fork as well. You can go to Bamberg. The main stem, you got Charleston County, the main stem. Colleton County, the main stem. Where the hell is the North Fork? North Fork right there. I must have skipped by it. Anyway, it tells you all, the North Fork and the South Fork, and then the confluence, and then the main stem that goes down to the ocean. It'll give you all the landing sites and tell you where they are, where you can put in, where you can take out. So today, we put in on the main stem. Let's go down here. We put in a zigzag landing, which is river mile 114, and we were taking out at 105. So somehow I done the math wrong, or just forgotten what my math was, and I thought we were doing a 10-mile trip. Gordon tells me, no, it's 11 miles. We get on the river, and we put in a zigzag. We pull out at Highway 21 at the bridge there at a private landing. Ended up being 7.4 miles on the Strava app that we were using. And if I look at the mileage here, that's river mile 114. We took out at river mile 105, so that's really 9 miles. So who the hell knows? But the GPS shows 7.4 miles. So it was a short paddle today. We were expecting to be out there a little over 5 hours probably, at the 11 miles that we were thinking we were going to do. So yeah, it was a short day. So we got done about 4. What the hell was I even saying? Where was I going with this whole story? No, it was just the mileage. So 7.4, we pulled out 4 o'clock. Like I said, I should have pulled him over here and just done the podcast immediately afterwards, and then try to hit a later dinner maybe, but whatever. We'll get Gordon in here. I'm on day 12 today. Let's make sure that's right. Is that correct? Hold on 1 second, guys. We're talking about being dry here. So, normally Gordon and I go out and we get our drink on a little bit, but decided not to today. So let's see, 7, 14. Yeah, today's day 12 for me, and today marks day 2 for Gordon Peters. So he's jumping on board with me and decided to go dry as well. So normally we'll go out there and have at least a 6-pack of beer, maybe a couple of specialty bottles. Specialty cans, even a growler, a crowler, whatever. We didn't take anything out there today alcohol-wise. We did take some tea. We're both big tea drinkers, so I had a mixture of some oolong, green tea, and matcha that I made up last night. Took 72 ounces of that out with me today. And Gordon had a jade tea that he had made and brought with him. So we had some fantastic tea out there on the river. Of course, water, to hydrate. Brought some snacks. Had those some sausage balls that I made the other night, some keto sausage balls. Bought a little Ziploc bag of those out there. Some Dukes, smoked sausages, links, and some cheese sticks, some mozzarella and cheddar marbled cheese sticks that I brought. Gordon had some dried figs, some walnuts, some almonds, and a little bit of a couple trail mix bars that he had squared up and cut into squares and put in a baggie as well. So we had some good food out there, had some good hydration, some good drinks. And the temperature couldn't have been more perfect. I mean, we're mid-80s, a little sporadic cloud cover, sunshine was out, little light wind going on. And, this is getting lower into that main stem, working our way down to the ocean, to Edisto Beach. And at the end of this, with that 7.4, it looks like we got about 106 miles to go before we reach the ocean. And that's our plan, is to do, the entire Edisto River, North Fork, South Fork, main stem, all the way down to the ocean. So I think what we decided today is we're going to get a different boat to go the rest of the way down to the ocean. We'll continue to use the kayaks we have now on the upper South and North Fork and finish those up. But for the rest of the way down the main stem, I think we're going to go out and get the sit-on-top kayaks that are self-bailing or they self-draining. So that way, if we do take on some water, once we get into some of the rough waters, getting closer to the ocean and the salt water, we're not going to sink our boats because we don't want to take on that water in the kayaks we have now. So the sit-on-top self-bailing is, I think, what we're going to get for the rest of the way down, that 106 miles we got left. And we're talking about maybe even doing a 2-day trip or 3-day trip where we go down and camp out a couple nights to finish up the rest of that trip. So we'll see how it goes. That would be, we still have to hit a portion of it, a couple portions before then. But if we can get out there and do 3 days in a row of maybe 20-mile days, because we got these long days now that we're into the summer again, spring and summer, we could do a 20-mile camp out, a 20-mile camp out, and then finish up with a 20-mile and hit the beach. Would be fantastic. So that's what's going on with the kayaking. Nothing real eventful out there today. We didn't see any major wildlife or anything. There was a small little portion that was almost kind of like a Class 1 rapid of sorts, maybe. So that was kind of fun to kind of roll through there. I don't know. That's about it, really. If Gordon was here, of course, we'd have a lot more to talk about, and he'd have a lot to talk about the flora and fauna that we saw out there. But he's not here. He's elusive. I should have held on to him when I had him. He's kind of like a leprechaun. If you let him go, he's going to disappear. So I should have held on to him when I had him and gotten him in here with his Lucky Charms. But oh well. So I apologize. I know I told everybody he was going to be here today, but didn't work, man. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. I didn't really have, the whole show was going to be about Gordon and I out on the river and just the not drinking thing. We were going to talk about that. I was going to ask him what he knew about possums. And speaking of possums, I've got a little update. I've had another one in the house since the last time I talked to you guys. Very cute little guy. Found him. I was sitting in my recliner, and then we have a little end table in between the two recliners, and then Tommy, my roommate, sits on the other side. He was at work. I'm sitting in the recliner relaxing after a day. What did I do that day? That was not yesterday. It was the day before. I don't know. I did something, and I just want to take a break and relax. I was tired. I just want to sit down in my recliner, kick my feet up, watch a little TV. So I was watching something. I think I might have been eating something as well. And out the corner of my eye, in between the two recliners, I see something kind of moving. So sometimes Leia will get back there and tool around a little bit. But saw something out the corner of my eye. Looked down. It's a damn possum. Same thing. It's about as big as that cup that I showed you last time. Maybe as big as my iPhone. My iPhone's a 6-inch screen here. Maybe a little bit longer than that, but, similar size. Little baby possum sitting there. So I look over and I'm like, whoa, what's going on over here? It's a possum. I reach down to try and touch the dude. He scurries, runs underneath the recliner, my roommate's recliner over there. So I'm like, okay, all right, we got you. You're underneath the recliner. I can get you out of there. So I grab my phone, turn on my light, my spotlight. I get up on my hands and knees. I'm looking up underneath the recliner. I see nothing. I go around to the other side of it, shine the light underneath there. I see nothing. I go around to the back of it. I shine the light through the back. Nothing. I'm like, I know I did not just hallucinate and see something. I know it was hot, and I was probably working in the yard that day. I think that's what it was. So I could have been hallucinating. I couldn't find it. So I open up the flap on the back. There's a little flap on the back of the recliner. Open up the flap. I look in there, not hiding underneath the flap. I Velcro that back up together. Then I said, okay, well, let's hit the power and let's raise the foot up of the recliner. Let's see if we can see anything under there. I shine the light. Nothing. This guy has vanished. He's disappeared. So I decide to tip the recliner over on its front so I can see the base of the recliner. I tip it up. Bam! This little guy is scurrying up the in between like the wood, bracing or stuff underneath the recliner. He's kind of scurrying up. So I reach in to try and grab him. He scurries out the recliner, goes across the floor, Leia's just clueless. She has no clue that there's even a possum in the house. She doesn't even know what I'm doing. It scurries over and goes underneath the TV stand. Well, the TV stand has a little spacing underneath it, about yay big, a couple inches high. Spans the entire bottom of the TV stand. And there's another plank of wood halfway back. So it gets trapped in there. Has to. Again, I get down on my knees. I shine the light to see if I can see him up underneath there. The dude is gone. I open up the drawers very slowly, and I kind of stand back a little bit. I pull the drawer open. Now Leia's getting involved. Leia's sniffing and looking around. I'm looking. I said, he must have somehow crawled up underneath into the drawer. So I open the drawer, nothing. I open the second drawer, nothing. The damn thing has vanished once again. So if anything that I've learned in the past couple of days is possums can vanish. They I don't know, I think they can time travel. I think they can move from one place to the other without you seeing them. I think. AC just cut on. I hate it. So I don't know. So I get out. I got a bow staff that I keep in the corner, and I do some martial arts training and stuff when I'm bored. I pull this bow staff out. I take it and I rake it up underneath the TV stand. I'm like, come on, he's got to be underneath there. Let me rake him. Let me push him out and get him out into the open so I can grab him and take him outside. Nothing. Nothing comes out. So then I look behind the TV. Behind the TV stand in the corner there's like backed up to a window. There's a space behind it. I got a subwoofer back there and some other things. I got an old subwoofer that's not even hooked up anymore back there. Probably need to get it out. I look back there. No possum. This guy, he's a magician, not a musician. He might be. He might play something. Kazoo. Who knows? Can probably whistle. He's got 50 teeth in his mouth. Probably could do something with a whistle. Anyway. I look back there, there's no possum. Only thing I can figure, this guy is underneath, and I mean, there's like a tiny space. This guy is underneath the subwoofer. So I inch myself back there. I step over and around some wiring and stuff that's back there. I put my hand on the front of the subwoofer. I tilt it up on its side. There's the possum. Sitting there staring at me. He starts to kind of glare his gums up a little bit, show me his teeth. He's scared. But he's trying to be fierce and stand up to me. So I start moving towards him. He scurries out. As soon as he scurries out, Leia's on top of it. Shoots over to the wall, tries to pin him up against the wall. He does a 180, turns back around, comes back up behind the TV. So now Leia's on one side of the TV, I'm on the other side. We got him trapped. All we have to do is just push him out. Push him out. He decides to scurry and just make a run for it. He makes a run all the way to the corner of the wall. Leia pins him in the corner, picks him up, carries him out into the middle of the carpet. Leia, all right, you got him. Let's take him outside. So I run over to the glass door, to the screen door. I open the screen door. I'm like, Leia, take him outside. Get him out there. Go. Leia's just looking at me. The possum's in her mouth. She's just looking at me like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. I'm not moving. Leia, get him outside. Come on. Take him outside. Leia drops him on the ground. I run over there, try to pick him up. I'm like, why is this possum not playing dead yet? These things are supposed to play dead. I should be able to just go over and pick him up, take him outside. He's comatose. No, this guy doesn't want to play dead. I go over to pick him up. Boom, he's back up on his feet, scurries across the room, and he scurries into the kitchen, goes around the side of the refrigerator, down the side of it, around back behind the refrigerator. I'm sweating now at this point. I am physically sweating. I had just taken a shower. I was relaxing. I was having a good time in the recliner, watching a show on Netflix. Now I'm sweating. Now I'm in it. I'm on a quest to get this possum out of the house. And it's like a game of Survivor or something. I don't know. Okay. I pull the refrigerator out. I look back behind there. Guess what? There's no possum behind the refrigerator. I push the refrigerator back in. I pull it back out. I turn it to the side a little bit. I turn it to the other side. I look back behind it. No freaking possum. Well, now it's time for me to go to work. I push the refrigerator back in. I tell Leia, keep an eye on the refrigerator. If he comes out, take him outside. I I go to work. The whole time I'm at work, I'm thinking, man, did I roll over the possum? Was it underneath the refrigerator? When I pulled it out, I rolled over him, and now he's dead underneath the refrigerator. Am I going to have to now tip the refrigerator over and try and get a dead possum out when I get home? All these thoughts are going through my head. I finish up at work. I get home. The first thing I do, as soon as I walk in the door, I turn on my camera light. I walk over, and I look behind the TV. There's a possum staring at me from behind the TV. There's nowhere for him to hide now because I've got the subwoofer turned up. He can't get underneath it. It's just open space back there. He's back there. Same thing. Leia's on one side of the TV. I'm on the other. I got to push him out. Trying to let Leia get a hold of him. He works. Push him out. Leia grabs him. Drops him on the carpet. As always, never takes him outside. He's still laying there. He's not dead, or he's not playing dead. And he's not dead. I pick the dude up by the tail. I grab him by the tail, pick him up, hang him upside down. I walk him outside, walk him all the way to the back fence, and gently drop him over the back fence. That's it. Haven't seen a possum since. That was a couple days ago. I come home from kayaking today. I go outside to see what Leia's doing before I go to the ice house to get my dinner. Leia's having a good time. She's out in the grass. She's rolling around on her back. She's just enjoying the nice cool grass on her back. Oh, great. Leia's having a great time. All right, Leia, I'll see you. Going to dinner. She stands up. There's a possum, a baby possum, about half the size of this phone. Maybe about the size of this controller here, this microphone maybe. Yeah, that's probably a better size. The size of this microphone right here. She's rolling over the top of this damn possum. She stands up. She looks at me. The possum starts moving around. She picks it up, tosses it in the air, tosses it over here, tosses it over there, just playing around with it. I don't have time to mess with it. I got to go to meet someone for dinner. So that's what I do. I come home. There's no possum in the house. There's no possum in the yard. I don't know what happened to that possum, but it is gone. Whew. Goodness. That's the possum story. That's what's going on. So anyway, what was I saying before I started that whole story was I was going to have Gordon over here. We were going to talk about the river. I was going to ask him what he knew about possums, and he was going to give me all kind of knowledge about possums that I didn't even know, because Gordon is a plethora of knowledge on all things, but specifically animals, flora, and fauna, as I said. So I didn't get to do that. The moral to that story was, what I was trying to get to is, I don't have any notes. I don't have anything I was going to talk about, because it was going to be about the river. And it was going to be about what does he know about possums. Also, it was going to be, I don't know if you can see on the camera, probably not. Maybe, I don't know. Can you see? I got involved in a battle with some Virginia creeper out in my backyard. I looked it up before getting involved with it. I got a new app on my phone. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a new app. Do I have it in my utilities? It's called Plant Snap. So I guess it's like Snapchat, but it's called Plant Snap. You can take a picture of a plant, the leaves, whatever. You take a picture, however you want to take a picture of it. But mainly the leaves. That's what kind of determines what kind of plant or a tree it is. You take a picture and it'll tell you, not with 100% certainty. It'll say, well, we think it's this, but it could also be this, this, or this. So it'll give you 2, 3, 4 different selections of what it could possibly be. The first one is what it is most confident about. So that's what it gave me, was a Virginia creeper. Said that it was not poisonous. Well, I beg to differ. I've got a rash over both arms. I've got a couple tiny little spots on my legs. I am allergic to Virginia creeper. Once I did more research on it, I found out that most people are not, that it does not affect most people, but that there are a few people that are allergic to the oils in that particular vine. I am one of those people. So that was something else I was going to ask Gordon about, but he's not here. He is the elusive Gordon Peters. It's a very apropos name for that dude. So anyway, that's it. I don't have anything else, guys. So I'm sorry Gordon did not make it in. He's right there. I was with him all day. We met at 10 o'clock, and we ended up parting ways off of the river at 4 and parted ways at about 4:45, actually, in both cars. He went one way, I went another at an intersection. So I was with him for 5, 6 hours today. We should have taken the GoPro out on the river and just freaking talked on the river. I knew we should have. We thought about it. We talked about it. Decided it wasn't a good idea, that we couldn't get a good audio, that all we'd have is a good video. Next time, I'm taking the GoPro. We're going to get some footage. If it's usable, fine. If it's not, then we'll trash it. But I learned my lesson. I've got to capture this guy when I've got him, or he disappears, kind of like these freaking possums. He's a magician as well. So that is all I got, guys. Sorry to disappoint. I hope maybe this was kind of informative or entertaining nonetheless. But upcoming shows, we're going to be sitting down with maybe the future mayor of Somerville. It's not going to be me. I'm not going to put my hat in that race this year or this election. We'll see what happens in the future, but I'm just not feeling it right now. Hopefully I can be a part of Fleming's cabinet. Yes, that's who I'm talking about, Fleming Moore. Hopefully he'll have a role for me in some aspect, some capacity, I guess would be a better word. But he's going to be coming on, not this Wednesday coming up, but next Wednesday. I'm going to be getting him. We're going to sit down actually in Studio 117 there at Homegrown Brewhouse, 117 South Main Street. We're going to sit down in the back. We're going to talk a little bit about Studio 117, of course, Homegrown Brewhouse. We're going to talk about some of the artists that are coming through that we're going to be having in the listening room there. And then he's going to officially announce his running for mayor of Somerville. We're going to sit down and talk a little bit about that, a little bit about politics, what his platform is, and what he and I want to see happen with the Somerville area. So that's coming up next week. I do have a gentleman that owns Holy City Fitness. We're going to be getting together with that dude. Hit him up earlier this week, and he has agreed to come on the show, so we're going to get him in, probably in Craft Conversation Studios. Paul Stone says he wants to do a third show. He's got some stuff to talk about, so we're going to get him in. And then my roommate, Tommy, and Scotty Oliver, we're going to get those guys. We're going to sit down with those guys again from Blue Sphere and see what they're doing, what they're up to these days since the last time we talked to them. They've got a show coming up May 18th in Studio 117, so we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about the show they did here recently at the Windjammer, and they just did one this past Saturday live under the oaks out at the Tattooed Moose in West Ashley. So lots of things going on, man. We're going to have lots of guests coming up here shortly, and we're going to get Gordon on camera eventually as well. So lots of fun stuff going on, guys. Hope you guys continue to listen. Get out there and hit the YouTube and hit the iTunes and all these different platforms. Please like, subscribe, share, hit those notifications so you can get notified when new episodes come out. And stay with me, guys. We're going to do some fun stuff. And I hope you're enjoying it thus far. This is show 75. It was supposed to be the Gordon Peters episode, but now it is not. I don't know what it's going to be called. But regardless, man, we're about 30 minutes in, and I'm going to go relax now because it's been a long day out in the sun. And I will talk to you soon, guys. Talk to you soon.